Is the answer to your burning question on why people with the genotype AA tend to suffer the most than people with the genotype SS. So keep watching this video to the end, it will help you a lot.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Nelly. So today I'll be telling you all the reason why people with the genotype AA tend to suffer malaria the most than people with the genotype SS. I know it sounds a bit, I don't know, some people might say what, but yes, it is really the truth. So let me tell you, if today is your first time of coming across this channel, please subscribe to my channel, please like this video and share. But if today is not your first time of coming across this channel, thank you so much for coming across my channel again. I really appreciate it. So without wasting much of the time, I'm just going to dive right into what we have in store. According to the title of this video, it says the reason why people with the genotype AA tend to suffer malaria the most than the people with the genotype SS. First, let's talk about what malaria parasite is. What is malaria parasite? Malaria parasite is caused by the female mosquitoes. Female mosquito is called Anopheles or Anopheles or Anopheles. I don't know, depending on how you want to pronounce it. In science, we don't really care about the pronunciation, but what we care about the most is how you spell it. Make sure it is spelled correctly. So the spelling is Anopheles. That is what it is called, the female mosquitoes. So when they bite you, they give you malaria parasite. So that is what it is. Now, human beings with the genotype AA tend to suffer malaria the most. Why? Because they have a beautiful red blood cell. Let me put it like that. Their red blood cell contains enough oxygen. So it is normal for a normal human being to have a red blood cell that contains oxygen. Now, malaria parasites, they build their metabolism with oxygen. They need oxygen to build their metabolism. They need oxygen to grow. That is what I mean. Now, for you that have a red blood cell, a good red blood cell with enough oxygen, malaria parasite will do well and relax more in your red blood cell. So you see, but people with the genotype SS, their red blood cell has low oxygen. They don't really have oxygen that much. So malaria parasite will not feel comfortable with their red blood cell. Then it won't grow. Now, these people that has the genotype SS, their red blood cell tend to sickle. It gives a sickle shape, like something like this, half C. That's what I can say, half C, a sickle shape. And then when it has that sickle shape, there's something we call macrophages or phagocytes. What are macrophages? They are those cells that are they are specialized cells that are responsible to detect dead cells. Now, when someone with the genotype SS has a red blood cell that has sickled, that is now sickle, the macrophages will detect that that red blood cell is dead. It doesn't have enough oxygen. Something that does not have enough oxygen, will it grow? As a human being, if you're no longer breathing, are you not dead? Yes, you're dead. So that red blood cell that doesn't have enough oxygen is as good as dead. So those macrophages will now detect that particular red blood cell that is sickle. Now, when it detects that red blood cell that is sickle, it will eat them up. That is the work of a macrophage in a human body. It is found in every human being, macrophage. Now, the process of macrophages eating up those cells is called phagocytosis. That is what we call it. That is why we can call those macrophages phagocytes. So they now eat up that red blood cell of someone that has sickle cell. Now, when they're eating up that red blood cell, they eat up the malaria parasite as well as the red blood cell. So you see, malaria parasite can never survive in a human body that has the genotype SS. So guys, without wasting much of your time, let's watch this short clip video to help you understand what I mean the more. So a person with genotype SS with low oxygen rate in his or her red blood cell, the red blood cell will now sickle because of the low oxygen. Now, when it sickles, the macrophages will detect that there is a red blood cell that is there. When the red blood cell does not have oxygen, it's as good as dead, just like you as a normal human being. We are no longer breathing. When you're no longer using oxygen, you are as good as dead. So those macrophages will now detect that red blood cell that has low oxygen rate, that is already sickle. Then they begin to eat it up. So when they're eating it up, they are eating it alongside the malaria parasite. So you see, that is the reason why people with the genotype SS don't always suffer malaria parasite. Now, this is the number one reason. What is the second reason? The second reason is that malaria parasite needs potassium to thrive. They need potassium to grow very well. We know potassium, we know calcium, all these things are, you can also call them mineral salts and so on. So this particular potassium, a red blood cell that has enough oxygen, that is very, very healthy, has potassium. Now, a human being with the genotype AA has potassium in his or her red blood cell. So the malaria parasite will definitely use it and survive. But a human being with the red blood cell SS doesn't have enough potassium in his or her red blood cell. Why? Because when that red blood cell sickles, it becomes porous. What does it mean for a red blood cell to be porous? When you say something is porous, it means that it has tiny, tiny pores, tiny, tiny holes that will make calcium, potassium, all these mineral salts to leak. When something is open, when you put something inside it, it doesn't hold it any longer. Like when you perforate a bucket, for instance, it doesn't hold water anymore. So that is exactly what happens to the red blood cell. When it lacks oxygen, it shrinks and it sickles. When it gives that sickle shape, it becomes porous. It has small holes in it, and then potassium begins to drop. Like it doesn't hold potassium any longer. So what will the malaria parasite have to thrive? Nothing. They can't see potassium there to thrive. So that is the number two reason. Now, what is the third reason? The third reason is that malaria parasite needs hemoglobin to survive. What is hemoglobin? Hemoglobin are just those proteins that are found in your red blood cell. So you see, this malaria parasite has big iron. It needs potassium, it needs protein, which is the hemoglobin, it needs enough oxygen, it needs all these things we need. Why? Because it is a living thing. Yeah. So it needs hemoglobin to thrive. Now, so malaria parasite needs hemoglobin to grow. But a human being with the genotype SS has muted hemoglobin. So muted hemoglobin leads to polymerization. What is polymerization? Just the combination of two or more molecules to form a giant molecule called polymer. So when it needs hemoglobin, it needs to ingest hemoglobin. You know what it means for something to be ingested? It needs to eat hemoglobin, like when you're eating food. Now, when someone with the genotype SS has a muted hemoglobin, polymerization occurs. That means the combination of more molecules to form a giant polymer. The polymer becomes big. The hemoglobin becomes big for the malaria parasite to eat. Do you understand? So it cannot ingest muted hemoglobin. So that is the third reason. So guys, I think with these few points of mine, I have been able to prove to you that people with the genotype SS tend to suffer less malaria than people with the genotype AA. So guys, if you love what you see, if you loved this video, if this information is useful to you, please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. You might be helping someone, you might be teaching someone else. So guys, I just love making a video like this, like home video where you relax and just tell people what you know. So guys, like my video, like I said earlier, subscribe to my channel. You'll be seeing more of this. If you need more of this kind of information, if you need this kind of videos, please do not forget to tell me on the section box, on my comments section box below. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys, love you.
If we try to believe in anything greater than a miracle, it wouldn't be this difficult. If we try to be a negative bull, yeah, we could be taking control, yeah. Negative bull, yeah, we could be taking control, yeah. Negative bull, yeah, we could